we go, we're back again. Let's get a wide angle. Although it wasn't really necessary, I did have a look at the other tape. It was only half full, so I was getting a little concerned that maybe we were approaching the limit of what that tape could actually occupy. So anyways, I changed the tape. We're back now, and we're going to look at the next bin. This bin, oddly enough, it's going to be a lot easier, I think, to empty. This stuff is getting pretty tiring, oddly enough. I've been doing this the whole day, editing these videos, and it's interesting. It's, you know, the science of how this is ultimately going to play out is going to be really fascinating to watch. So, as invigorating as it is, it's awfully tiring. So, anyways, without taking off my gloves or putting on my gloves, let's first see what we got here. We'll shake off a few things, and I guess I'm going to have to find a new garbage bin. There's a worm right there, actually, right on the piece of paper. Now, we put in these large pieces of paper, or I put in this large piece of paper for no particular reason other than, you know, a bit of an experiment, just to see, you know, large paper, small paper, the difference. Who's going to react. You can see actually on here there are worms that are on the paper, so they're obviously doing some attacking, which is good to see. This paper is quite, I would imagine, quite friendly to the worms. It's pretty standard stuff, but you can already see that there's worms galore in here, and for what the supplier sent us, well, there's an interesting thing. I don't know how well we can see this. Let me see if I can back this up a bit. Maybe if we go wider. There it is. You can see that the worm has actually burrowed a hole right in the paper. So you can see that, you know, these guys don't mess around. This is actually kind of interesting. Let's get a glimpse of this guy. There, he's pulling back a bit now. Sorry, I know I'm drifting a bit here, left to right, because I'm looking at a side screen instead of through the eyepiece. And maybe the light or something is causing him to pull back. So, anyways, I'm going to close this side panel, and I'm going to look through the eye find. There, the eye finder is a little bit easier. So when we look at the worm, that worm has actually burrowed a hole right through that paper. He's made his own little niche, so to speak, and I guess out of that, his ultimate goal was to eat the whole thing. Now he's pulling out completely, and off he goes. He's moving down the side, probably because of the light. In the interim, I'm trying to put on one of my rubber gloves here while I hold the camera. Let's see if I can do this effectively. And oh, where'd he go? I guess he's sort of gone, eh? Well, let's find him. There he is. So he literally drilled a hole right through the paper. This little guy right here. You know, and you can see, if we look at this worm, just the pure size of him. I mean, he's not enormously huge, but certainly bigger than some of the worms that we've encountered thus far. You know, and that's one of the interesting things about what's in this bin versus what was in the other bin. So we'll transfer him right away into the new bin. We'll take this paper, and we'll kind of move it around a bit and see if we can't find any other worms that have maybe left a mark, drilled a hole, got into the paper somewhere else. Doesn't look like it. Oh, I'm mistaken. There's another one right here. If I can get my hands on him, pop him into the new bin. Okay, so we'll take that larger piece of paper out anyways, and shake it a bit. Put him behind there. Looks like I'm going to have some vacuuming to do. Some shredded paper here. not much has gone on with regards to that. No biggie. Some of the worms looks like they might have either fallen or maybe come off of my gloves from before, so we'll make sure that we pick them up. I'll try to keep looking through this eyepiece as long as I can, rather than use the side piece of the camera. Now, as far as the worms go, oh, there's a bunch in there. Here's a newspaper. Now, this is not newspaper that these were shipped in by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see, maybe if I zoom in a bit we can see them a little better. You can see that the worms are there. They're all over the place. Yeah. Let me dump some of them down there. See? Those were on the newspaper, just sitting there on the newspaper. The newspaper's a little moist, which is fine. You know, got no problem with that. We'll move this newspaper around. I know it's out of frame, but move it around, see if there's anybody else still on it. Don't see anything, but they do hold on. They're very tenacious in the way that they grasp this particular material. Okay, so that one's okay. Over in the corner, down there, you can see there's some. See, and that's what I mean, is that they move around and they sort of clump up and they get into certain areas where they just don't want to let go of. Here's another large piece of paper. This is part of the original bedding that went down on the bottom. Maybe it's time to transfer this camera back up onto the tripod, and let's see where we can go from here. I'm just going to pause this for a moment. Alright, so let's resume here a little bit. I'm going to stick on my other gloves, or my other glove, and we'll zoom out a bit and then see what we can do so far as finding out what's going on in this bin. But the worms certainly out of this bin were a lot more active than they were in the previous one. So we'll take this one on the back side there, take him out. Now this, again, like I said, is the original bedding that was down on the bottom. Just a regular, ordinary, run-of-the-mill piece of newspaper. Nothing fancy. Fold that up. There's none in the folds. No worms in the folds. Other pieces here. Just regular paper. Nothing too dramatic going on there. No worms in the bedding that way. Put that over here. Take this again, same thing. So what we're dealing with and what you're seeing here is primarily a lot of bedding more than anything else. Now let's start moving around inside of the actual bin itself. What you're seeing here, this is just bread material. Nothing too huge, dramatic. Take out some more of this shredded paper. Maybe we'll pop a bit of that into the other bin, and then we'll look around here. This is again the bedding. So they've obviously, maybe because of the light even, they've traveled pretty far down into the bottom of the bin. Nothing on either side of that newspaper.